Hi, everybody. Here we are in the middle of all of this, and I apologize for starting so late, although since we're playing with time and time's elastic, I'm guessing it's exactly the actually perfect time for us to be together. What we're doing here is beginning a series, hopefully, of Facebook Live posts that start exploring our relationship with time as all part of the Tango with Time image. And as we're doing this, we're almost doing them as workshops, so you can look at them later if you actually get lucky and find it when we're finding it, which since we're about 20 minutes after I said we would, may or may not be happening. I would invite you for questions, and we can do questions later, and at the end, we can do questions after the whole thing is published and it's just this random Facebook post. And I'll still answer them, and we'll work with that from there. But first of all, since we're playing this as a workshop, I want you to do something really novel. I'd like you to breathe with me. I'd like you to take a deep breath in, just settle down, just wherever you are, wherever your face is. Close your eyes if you like to, but relax a little bit. And see how much air you can actually get all the way in. And slowly let it out. And see if you can feel where that is in your body. And that really is sort of the beginning of how you get present enough to make time work for you. Because time's a really, really funny, odd concept. We, as you may have heard, it's pretty much a man-made invention. Oh yes, we've always worked a little bit with the seasons, and we've understood about tides, and we've understood about hot and cold and shadows and the best time, if you want to call it time, for things like that. But the whole piece of this is more an exploration of sort of our own dance with the universe and the weather and the stars and the sun and the moon. But as we got more into commerce and more into people doing more things, we got a little more structured about it. At the time, the sort of point that I keep talking about with this comes in the Industrial Revolution, because there, using people's bodies and presence on the floor and doing things and working things was terribly and completely important to them. And so they're the ones we can credit, give, or blame for creating both for the minute hand and certainly even seconds, because people had to clock in and work for a set period of time. We also can blame them for all sort of our like rows and rows of teaching kinds of situations we put into, but that's another discussion. So it's that sort of ownership, people trying to own other people's bodies to get things done, that was the beginning of a lot of our whole time pieces. And then we got into things like schedules, because we ended up with things like buses and trains and things that had to get from one place to the other. And it sort of was useful if people knew when they were going to start and arrive. It was one of those sort of convenient kinds of pieces. And through that, for a long time, people had invented their own time. Any individual town, like New York, would have a completely different time system than Cincinnati, even though now we're on what we call the same time zone. And that just wasn't working. So a lot of this became a convenience thing, a communication piece, a way to help each other come out on the other side of just getting along and getting things done. And again, the whole thing about owning our bodies and owning what we do and owning where we are and how they come out with that. And that's sort of like where we are with that. Who I am, those of you, if you're actually listening to this, you probably know that my name is Sally, and I've done all kinds of crazy things and different kinds of things. And if I were introducing myself, I'd, in a traditional way, I'd do what I'd call one of the Ds. I'd relate to you by talking about divorce or debt or disease or high drama or degrees or whatever it is that you want in that piece. But the reason I do this is not because of any of the D's, as I call it. It's all about having really learned to sort of be free and be more present in the world and having time actually work with me. So it really is a partner, which is why the Tango with Time name came out. I love the image of dancing. I love to dance. And so that sort of image of our dancing with time, rather than sort of fighting it and managing it and whipping it into straight, beating time, as it is in the Lewis Carroll quote that got the rabbit in so much trouble. And the way we do that, I think to begin with all these things besides just, and I'm nothing if not inconsistent about this, by the way. I've been using Apple products for 1 million years, well, since '86. Isn't that 1 million? And the very, very, very first adaptation thing I ever really wanted was an iWatch. So I'm the proud owner of an iWatch and wear it all the time. So I'm nothing if inconsistent on this one. But meanwhile, as we begin this conversation, as we begin where we're going to go, I've got homework for you, and this is sort of how we're going to work with some of these. And I will answer questions and comments as people do whatever they do. I would like you to start thinking, where isn't time working for you? What is this whole thing about being caught in time? What is it preventing for you? Is it something about your relationships? Is it something about how did you get done at work? Is it something about never ever having time to go out with a drink with your friends? Is it the fact that you've missed your kid's soccer game 3 weeks in a row? Is it you haven't seen your mother in 6 weeks and you wouldn't mind seeing your mother? Is it, I don't know. I don't know what your list is for you. For most people, it seems to be work deadlines and other deadlines. But I want you just this week to start paying attention to where you want more time. Time is considered one of the major commodities in the world, right up there with money and experience. So if we're wasting time, we're using time, whatever you're doing with time, we don't have enough time, where is that showing up for you? And that really is the simple homework question for the week. Answer me in the comments. So we'll work with it from there. I don't know quite how you get interactions on some of this, but I know we can. Hi, David. I see that you've checked in really briefly. And we'll proceed. Because it really is something we've made up, so we might as well make it work up for us and make it work the way we want it to do for ours. Thank you. See you another week.